Erik, what did this just mean for Fandango alone? People lining up to try and get these seats.
Yeah, I mean, it broke records at Fandango in terms of pre-sales, all-time pre-sales. This movie now holds the record, 24 hours. First 24 hours, it broke that record. Sold 5 times more tickets than Avengers Infinity War in its first week. So there was a survey that Deadline put out yesterday that said 62% of people bought their tickets in advance for this film, and so that just goes to show you that.
You don't show up and find out there's no tickets, there's no seats.
I mean, we 8,000 sold-out showtimes at the end of last week. This morning, I heard it was more like 16,000 sold-out showtimes across the country. So just massive anticipation, and we do not see event films like this come around too
That
often.
was going to be my next question. Is this a once-off, or does this mean that the box office is back?
Well, I mean, just for Disney alone, they're just getting started. We still have an Aladdin movie, a Toy Story 4, a Maleficent movie, a Lion King movie, which I think is going to be a huge juggernaut in July, and then the granddaddy of them all, Star Wars Episode 9, at the end of December, which we've never seen a studio have 2 franchise finales like Disney is going to have this year. And so I think they're just getting started, and the blockbuster season is just getting started. We still have a Pikachu movie coming out next week, and then a Godzilla movie, and so a lot of Men in Black movie.
What do you think of the idea of the stratification of films broadly, meaning that there'll be just these event movies and nothing else? Because we talk about the future of Disney Plus and OTT and how that's going to change the whole game.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that these big movies, I mean, look, to make this kind of money, you know, historically, they're going to be wrapped around big IP, highly anticipated films. But what we are also seeing is that these kinds of movies bring a lot of people back to the theater that don't necessarily go, and it reminds them, hey, I kind of like it. Hey, they redid my theater. Now it's comfortable again. I can order dinner here. And so we're seeing that kind of bleed into other genres. Last year, horror was big. Quiet Place was big. The 3rd biggest movie of this year is an original horror movie from Jordan Peele with Us. Documentaries last year, 4 documentaries last year wound up in the top 30 highest grossing documentaries of all time. And so we're starting to see that bleed into all of these other categories. A Star is Born, drama, huge numbers. Crazy Rich Asians, huge numbers. And so it's bleeding everywhere.
What was surprising about this one was that they were able to get big numbers even with a 3-hour-plus movie. Usually that squeezes the number of showings that you can get in, but you had theaters that were opening at 7 o'clock in the morning. Is that the future of movie theaters too?
I think if you have movies like this, yeah, you know, you're definitely going to have movie theaters that are going to say, sure, we'll stay open 24 hours for 72 hours just to play this around the clock. And I knew people that were going to see it at 4:30 in the morning, which was nuts. But, you know, that's the kind of movies that when you have this kind of anticipation for a film, you want to see it whenever you can see it. I would also imagine that Star Wars movie in December is going to elicit some of the same kind of anticipation.
The debate that's taking place when you look at the Academy Awards, Steven Spielberg's side versus the Netflix side, what happens?
Well, I think that Netflix will be in there. I don't think Netflix will be discounted from the Oscars. I definitely think their films will, as long as they play by the Academy rules and they're in theaters for X amount of time, I definitely think Netflix will be at the table along with Amazon.
But is it a statement on an industry that's under siege?
Well, I just think that, you know, and I give Spielberg credit. I think, you know, I feel that way too. I feel that, you know, we don't want to lose that big screen experience. It's part of our pastime. And I think sometimes you have to make a little bit of noise, and sometimes you have to be a little controversial and say, hey, everybody, let's not discount the movie theater experience, because if we don't have that experience, we're not going to be happy. We want that in our lives.
Especially if you work at Fandango, where you're selling movie tickets.
Yeah, I mean,
theaters.
There's a reason why I do work at Fandango. I grew up in the theater. I was at the parties. Every weekend I was at the theater. And so I value that experience very much. And
Just to ask you, in terms of ticket sales, obviously this was a huge weekend. This was a really big deal. But what have ticket sales been through a Fandango site, let's say now versus 5 years ago?
Well, I mean, yes, they've grown exponentially, I would say. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing millions and millions of tickets sold.
Because now people want to reserve a seat before.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you have these theaters that are being retrofitted with all of these kind of comfortable chairs. There's maybe less room in the theaters, and you want to go to a specific row. You want to be in a specific place.
So it's not a statement of more people watching movies. It's a statement of how people watch movies in the theaters.
Yeah, a little bit of both, I think.
It's kind of depressing to me that it's Star Wars and stupid superheroes. How about this?
Because you didn't get you didn't buy in early
How
on.
about this Scorsese?
The Irishman. Yeah, that's coming.
That's gonna be on Netflix.
That's for, yeah.
But it'll be in theaters. You know,
Right.
it's interesting when they released the first teaser for that. It did not. I don't even know if they mentioned Netflix. It said only in theaters
Right.
this fall. So Scorsese is another one like Spielberg. That experience means a lot to him, and so he will make sure that movie is.
But you don't think that most people are going to watch if it comes out on a Friday, people are not going to watch that at home on Netflix?
I mean, it all depends on what they do. They may put it in theaters for a couple of weeks before they put it on Netflix. Netflix is just messing around with the way that they release these movies. Some of them will go day and date. Some of them will be in theaters for an exclusive engagement.
Do we now think there's going to be day and date? Meaning that Netflix is not going to release The Irishman at the same time?
We do not know. They haven't said yet. But yeah, they've gone a couple of different ways with their films.
It's not the death of like unique non-sequel pictures, is it? Can we
No,
get
what
back
is
to
has
that
it?
a little bit, please?
I mean, look. Every time a big movie like this opens, everybody says there's no more original movies. But like I said, the third biggest movie this year is an original movie,
Right.
with Jordan Peele's Us. And I definitely think the original movies will be there. And if anything, these movies making tons and tons of money will give studios a little bit more leeway to give riskier projects the green light. You know, especially with Disney, with Fox. I think Fox is going to be that studio where they're making the R-rated.
Now, what's the Lion King? Is it going to be live action or something?
It is going to be live
looks
action.
How the hell are
really
they going to
cool.
do that?
CGI.
Watch
I saw
the commercial.
I saw the
It looks-
commercial for it. It
looks
does look pretty
beautiful.
amazing.
I don't want to be an extra. That one, I don't think. Well, your co-stars are lions?
Well,
he could be one of the jackals.
John Favreau did it. The Jungle Book. It's all motion
Really
capture.
cool.
It looks-
Check it out. Look. You're
can
missing
make
it.
it-
You're missing it.
You're missing it.
If you can make an elephant
Look.
fly, I guess you can.
Oh, you just missed it again.
Is Scar going to be in there?
Yeah, they're all going to be there.
Jeremy
Great
Irons,
cast.
yeah?
Beyonce is in there
Yeah, it
too.
looks pretty good.
It's going to be cool.
That's going to
Donald
be huge.
Glover.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Yeah. All right, I can go with that. That's
Yeah.
not a real
It doesn't look creepy. It looks cool.